G'day, welcome to my final probably Bitcoin post. It's a very difficult stage to know either way which way it's going to go, but I'm going to give you the bearish version, which I think will really depend on Monday what the S&P 500 does in the following week. But I am bearish at the moment, and what I've done on this chart, just to give you an understanding, I just pretty much did a fib channel. So give me a sec and I'll show you what I did in that sense. Not that one. Where is it? There we go. So I was looking at this, just setting up a fib channel and seeing how I can trade this area. And you can see from a macro perspective, just ignore all this for the time being. Let's just do this. Ignore that. And we can just put that there as well. And ignore that. Come on. Right, so I was just looking at this structure, and it dawned on me that this line is pretty much pivotal for a macro trend break, and you can see how the moment we broke that, it's down. I obtained this, and it was just by luck, by seeing someone else doing it, and what they did was pick the line, and this does a good job. Okay, so if you want to know that, there you go. That sort of gets rid of all the wicks, and when I add the candlesticks back to it, it was fine. So going back to the daily, so this trend line becomes important, and this, you can see that if this is a macro trend line, then this can be a bearish flag, right? So you got the correction, 1, 2, and now we can have that and continue on, which is probably unlikely, because we don't see strength here. Maybe we'll see strength there. Really comes down to the institutions, and but this might be the case. So I'm going to come back to it. We have this correction A, B. Ideally that will be the case and the continuation. However, what we have also is the bearish scenario. We have A, B, C here, locks S&P 500, and then continue on. But then this macro line has been strong, and I'll be looking at either up to that level or from, no, I'll give you a clue where. We'll do if that was the case, we'll do a fib, and the 618 is probably where we're going to get the rejection. And if that's the case, then we are going to drop down, and if we break this is the line that, if we break this line, that's pretty much it. But I'm thinking earlier this channel, and I'm going to give an explanation as to that. So I've done it before, and it's on my YouTube, but I'm going to go into detail now, and we can potentially go to the 1.414. okay, if I was to remove this, I'll put it into, it becomes a 1.618 based on the logging settings. So the 618 is pretty good. That's a good start. It has confluence there if we were to break this channel or this horizontal line, and you can see where this is going. So this currently looks like a bear flag, and if we look up closely, you can see how that's, many people draw this line. If I was to get that line, many people draw this line like that, but this, it could have been, well, where is it? It could be that as well, and you can see how the middle of the channel was a rejection, and it's also another fib extension, but anyway, that's a bearish candle. This is a bearish candle on the 3-day, and if we look at this is definitely turning bearish. So it's still not, it's still in the negative zone, and the MACD has crossed over on the 3-day as well. And what we have is 8 hours left, so it is very, very bearish. And if we look up closely on the daily, doesn't look like this is going to turn anytime soon. So we really need, if this was to come down, and if I was to extend this wick fib channel, you can see how it's got confluence. And so if we were to drop, and this level here gets another wick of this type, a real strong buy signal, then we're going to go up. And I would say that this level 44, that was my initial target. That could be the first of many, and if we get on top, we can pretty much hit the top of this channel and then continue on. That's a bullish version. But if this wick, there was no, so if this drops and there's no wick like this in the day, that's not going to be good. And we can say that moving from that point, now you can see now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move across. I'm going to move across all the way to 2017, and you can see how this channel, seriously, you can see how this channel has confluence as all along here was support and resistance. So this channel is making sense to me, and even down here. So I just did this and I saw some confluence. So now I'm going to show you the confluence all the way back to 2017. And in 2017 we had this capitulation, and you can say that this is the equivalent of our 68 top, and we had this massive pullback, and this pullback was, what was that? That's about 69%. Okay, if that's 69%, what do we have here? We have %. Okay, still pretty good. Still as bad. Not as we didn't have this parabolic motion, so this is very different from last time. But here's the thing: we still had this weak structure, and you can say that that structure is like that, or you can say similar to what we had. You can say that is a bear flag as well. So if we were to compare, we had our A, B, and C correction, and then we had this rally just slightly over the 0.618. If you were to put that as a 3-day, it will be a wick. So anyway, so you can see the progress of this channel. And again, very similar. It has confluence. So this extended channel is ironic that it's got some what it could be is a fair value channel. So and that there's a long story to it, but you can see how that's also very relevant. So every time we break this channel, even resistance, it's making sense. So here we had the bounce. So once we broke this level, and you can say that today we're equivalent to that. Maybe something similar to this, like that, maybe like that. And so this becomes a bear flag, and then we drop, and then we have another rally, which is just below this. So we'll compare that. So looking at that, a bit of a bounce. Here's an inverted head and shoulders, and hits a target and comes back down. Now you can see again as I said, the bottom of the channel and the top of the channel. So it comes to sense that if we lose this level, if we lose this level, I see it coming down all the way down. So this channel becomes very important. If we were to not lose it and just bounce off here like that, we can have maybe a similar level of, and we can do the profile. Let's see volume profile, how that gives us a picture, and see where the resistance levels are. Okay, so this is support, as you can understand at the moment. And if we get the bounce, if we were to pass this level, then the next level will be around here, which is 618. Based on this profile, so 618, or just slightly above, is where we can see the bounce. And then if we were to lose this level again, if it was to come back down with the shorts, definitely we're looking at the bearish scenario. And then the capitulation could be there, and I'm thinking it's going to come down to this level. We have the CME gap. Actually, the CME gap's around here. But it's not going to be enough. The CME gap's around here. And I think it can go further down. So we are looking at this range as initial bounce, but with that momentum, depending how it drops, if it drops slowly, then it's less likely to go all the way to the 618. But if it drops really hard like previously, then the 618 is probably going to be a good spot to buy. Let's just put that back, and actually that was the case, yes. So I had the low, yeah, so I had it, I'm not sure why that's the case. Yeah, so I have that there. I'm more interested right here at the moment, 22k. It could potentially fall down to the 618, which is probably 18,000. So, which is aligned with these previous tops. So that's what I have at the moment. I'll leave it at that. Tell me what you think. I've given the bearish scenario, obviously, and there is also the bullish scenario. But the bullish scenario is not looking favourable at the moment, because retail and the Fed interest rates and so on, SP 500, a lot of that stuff is going to influence the market. So let's put our initial projection, and there we go. So when I look at this, I just pretty much put a channel. So that's aligned with this channel, and that's why I'll look at this. And yeah, we ignore this COVID situation. To me, that looks like a real good spot for a bounce. And very similar, we will see a wick-off accumulation if that was to occur. And if you look at the timelines, October, towards the end of the year, we'll start getting this bullish rally. So we've still got a few months if it was to drop. And if it were to drop hard and fast, that would be a perfect signal for an entry. And anyway, that's what I'm looking at as a bearish perspective. And the bullish perspective is that we have to stay in this channel and then continue on. And it will be evident that this is not going to drop. But at the moment, it's neutral. We don't know that if this is a bearish, this does also fit into an accumulation or a macro accumulation. So it's going to be very difficult to know which way it is until we see the signs. And one of the signs is if we get a drop, we want to see a bullish candle on the daily. And pretty much starting to repeat myself, and I'll leave it at that. So here we go. Talk to you soon. Cheers.